All right, so I had the book that's called The Man Who Mistook His Wife as a Hat. And so, pretty much, this book is about this doctor who, over his span of practicing, put together a bunch of case studies about these like bizarre neurological disorders that people had that he treated. Um, it talks a lot about like the nervous system and like the brain and how it works or how it like doesn't work in this case, because like I said, they were stories about neurological disorders and just like weird things that like would happen to people's like brains and nervous system. So I want to talk about this one story about this woman who came in to this doctor and was like, I don't feel like my body's mine. Like I like don't know like what I'm like doing like when I do it. Like she couldn't like understand like the movements she was doing, and she couldn't control them, and she didn't know how to control her own body. Like she didn't have any control over it. So eventually he diagnoses this woman with proprioception, and I just have like this written down, like the like formal like definition, so I don't really screw it up. But so proprioception causes problems in your feedback system between your sensory receptors and your sensory receptors throughout your body and your nervous system. So they have an effect on like your skin and muscles and tendons, and but they are but they have a huge effect on these things called mechanoreceptors. And mechanoreceptors are responsible for depolarizing these cell membranes in your skin and your muscle and your tendons, all this stuff. So your muscles, like when your cells depolarize, it like that's like the start of like the signal for like a contraction and stuff. So you can understand like damaging these, or just like these not working, like would affect your body's like all your muscles, like and so we're supposed to tie chemistry into this. So the way that I like I'm thinking like this ties back with chemistry is because like when these mechanoreceptors are damaged, they can't accept and receive neurotransmitters and chemicals and hormones that your body releases in order to tell your body like, hey, this muscle needs to contract in order to do this. So when those receptors are damaged and they can't accept the chemicals and neurotransmitters and stuff, like you don't like you can't move. Like your body like literally like if you can't accept them, then there's no depolarizing, there's no reaction. I don't know what the word is right now, but yeah, there's no signal that's going to be sent. There's no signal that's going to be started. There's yeah, and so your body like this woman said, like she felt detached from her body because she didn't know like how to move anymore because of these mechanoreceptors that were damaged. And those play like a really big role in like your body, like the sodium potassium, like the sodium potassium pump is literally how like signals get started. And like calcium is another big chemical that's very like responsible or is responsible for a lot of things in your body. Another story that I found like really interesting is this guy came into the doctor, and he thought that he was stuck in 1945, and he was like 20 something back in like 1945. And he when he was at the doctor, he was like kind of like an old man, like I can't remember exactly like how old that he said he was, but he like had like gray hair and like a beard with like gray hair in it. But he thought that he was like a 20-year-old man back during 1945. And the doctor was like listening to him like explain this, and he just like was like stand up and like look in this mirror. And this man was just like shocked that he wasn't like he couldn't, like he was like, why am I not 20 years old? Why am I looking at an old man right now? And I thought this was really interesting because, like I said, like this man had such a neurological disorder that the chemicals and the hormones and the neurotransmitters in his body weren't working efficiently enough to let this man realize that he wasn't 20 years old anymore. I mean, he had aged at least 20 years, probably more at this point. But yeah, he couldn't realize that, and there were a lot of stories like that. I mean, like the book is titled "The Man Who Mistook His Hat or His Wife as a Hat," and he had this guy that, sorry, there's like something on my phone. This man that had that disorder had a disorder for his left hemisphere, his left frontal lobe, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Anyways, but he like went to the doctor and he was like describing, and he would like he'd be like, reach for this pen, and he would like look at it because he didn't realize what it was. Like he had a disorder where he couldn't distinguish what made this calculator different from this pen. He couldn't recognize the difference, and so he would like reach for something else and be like, oh, this is the pen, right? Like, and he'd be holding like something like totally random. And when he was leaving the doctor's office, he reached for his hat and he grabbed his wife's head like this because he couldn't distinguish the difference between his wife and his hat. And like I said, like it just all ties back to all the chemicals that are inside your body, the receptors or any of that. Like it all has a deficiency. Like it doesn't work. The chemicals can't get to the receptors, or the receptors can't accept those chemicals and receive those chemicals and neurotransmitters the way that they're supposed to in order to make the body function the way that it should. So yeah,